RTV6 has been at the courtroom since very early this morning, watching as Jared Fogle arrived to the courthouse, straightening his tie, looking a little defeated as he went into the courthouse this morning. Had nothing to say to reporters as he walked into the downtown federal courthouse. Our team of reporters has been there all day watching for any type of movement from the time that Jared Fogle walked into the courthouse. We have team coverage. I'll just lay out some of that team coverage for you. We have Eric Cox live at the live downtown watching entrances. Our Julie Pursley and Rafael Sanchez are on hand too. We'll get an update now from Julie.
Now, you know, another portion of this is Fogle's family, very well known in this community. His father, a longtime physician. You know, Fogle was married. He is now going through a divorce. He has 2 young children. Now, Fogle told the court, the members of my family are also victims of all of my acts, and I am absolutely devastated by what I did to my wife. I want to get myself healthy and try to help others again. Now, as far as his wife, Judge Tanya Walton Pratt said, you gave your wife almost $7 million. She will be okay. Now, the defense also pointed out that going to prison for Jared Fogle as a celebrity is going to be much different than other people. And of course, the money is something that people are talking about as well. Restitution is being paid to at least 14 victims in this case. That's $1.4 million. That money has been handed over to the government. Each of these victims are supposed to get $100,000. Now, the prosecution pointed out that those victims are not limited to that amount of restitution. They can seek more. They also pointed out that if other victims come forward in the future and are identified, that those victims may also seek restitution. And what we're learning as well is now that Judge Pratt has announced the 15.5-year sentence, the possibility of parole, rather the possibility for appeal, is not going to be allowed. So 16 years in prison does not leave Jared Fogle with the possibility to appeal. The max will be 12.5 years behind bars. And again, Fogle told the court that I could have sought treatment years ago, but I didn't. I could have done it after Taylor's arrest, but I didn't. The prosecution pointed out that the co-conspirator in this case, Russell Taylor, is a man that they called a monster that they say Jared Fogle could have caged, because as they pointed out in the court, that Fogle was getting the pictures from these hidden cameras that were set up throughout Russell Taylor's house. And they say if he had come forward and told authorities right when he saw that, everything would have been different and a lot of kids would not have been victimized in this case. And they also pointed out the fact that those images were shared with a lot of people and that Fogle knew who these kids were, he knew where they lived, and he knew how to find them. But then they also said that this case goes far beyond that. They were talking about some 400 videos that were found and pictures of children as young as 6 years of age. The prosecution asked the judge to really consider that. Something else that was interesting that was pointed out, one of the specialists that the defense brought in said that they classified him, they actually diagnosed Jared Fogle as a mild pedophile. Well, then when the prosecution got up to speak, they asked, is that a clinical term? How can you call someone a mild pedophile? And then that doctor who was then presenting that evidence said that was just a term that he had used. It actually was not a clinical term. Mark?